Okay, good morning. We'll try to finish up the Old Testament. This is essential oils, purification. So please try to take good care of yourself. Be natural if you can, and do your best for the Lord. I guess I should say. 1 Samuel 2:2. There is no rock like our God. There is no rock like our God. And I have some rocks behind me, but I won't show them to you. 1 Samuel 7:3. If you return to the Lord with all your heart, then put away the foreign gods and the Ashtoreths from among you, and prepare your hearts for the Lord and serve him. So that's like half a sentence. Serve him only. I need to look at that. 1 Samuel 7:3. If you return to the Lord with all your hearts, so it needs to be more people there, then put away the foreign gods and the Ashtoreths, I think that's some kind of pole, from among you, and prepare your hearts for the Lord. So that's half a sentence. Let's look that up later. 1 Samuel 3:3. While Samuel was lying down, the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, Here I am. So he ran to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. And he said, I did not call you, my son. Lie down again. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time. So he rose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you did call me. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he calls you, that you must say, Speak, Lord. While Samuel was lying down, 1 Samuel 3:3. While Samuel was lying down, the Lord called Samuel. Here I am. You called me. Wait. Okay, sorry. Samuel, so he's lying down, gets up. So I should have one picture of Samuel lying down. While Samuel was lying down, the Lord called him, and he answered, Here I am. So he's lying down, and then he gets up. So he ran to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. And he said, I did not call you. Go back and lie down, my son. Lie down again. I did not call you, my son. Lie down again. I did not call you. Go back and lie down. And the Lord called Samuel again, the third time. Here I am. You called me. My son, I did not call you. Go back and lie down, says Eli. So again, the Lord called Samuel again the third time. So he arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you did call me. Therefore Eli said, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he calls you, that you must say, Speak, Lord. Go and lie down again, and if he calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. 1 Samuel 3:4-10. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. Oh, that's one N, I believe. At least in America. In England, it might be two N's. Listening. You've got to connect that. Listening. Your servant. I'll fix this later. Sorry, guys. Then the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do something in Israel. So speak, Lord. Your servant is listening. I'm going to fix that. Then the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do something in Israel. The Lord was with Samuel as he grew up, and he let none of Samuel's words fall to the ground. That's a good image. The Lord was with Samuel as he grew up, and he let none of Samuel's words fall to the ground. They're way up high. Samuel 3, I can't see. Samuel 3. And he let none of Samuel's words fall to the ground. Go on the floor. 1 Samuel 9:20. Don't worry about them. They have been found. I guess some donkeys were lost. Don't worry about them. They have been found. Where's Saul? Okay. 1 Samuel 10:22. So I think they're looking for a king and looking for King Saul. Where's Saul? He has hidden himself among the supplies. 1 Samuel 10:22. Where's Saul? We need a king. I think he was very tall and good looking. He has hidden himself among the supplies. Among the objects. Products. As Samuel turned to leave, Saul caught hold of the hem of his robe and it tore. Samuel said to him, "The Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today." 1 Samuel 15:27-28. As Samuel turned to leave, here's Samuel leaving. Saul, king, so he did become king. Saul caught hold of the hem of his robe. So here's the hem. The hem is like the edge. It's hemmed in. Or the seamstress made a hem, folded over. As Samuel turned to leave, Saul caught hold of the hem of his robe and it tore. Samuel said to him, "The Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today." So this doesn't have David and Goliath, but Saul becomes jealous of David, and David's running around trying to escape different enemies, and David's very strong. He pretended to be insane or crazy in their presence, ... making marks on the door of the gate and letting saliva run down his beard. 1 Samuel 21:13. David pretended to be insane in their presence around them, ... making marks on the door of the gate and letting saliva run down his beard. So he's making marks on the gate, the doorway, and letting drool or saliva run down his beard. I want to show you spit or saliva or drool. So David is escaping and acts crazy. 1 Samuel 23:28. This is the rock of escape. 1 Samuel 23:28. The rock of escape. Getting away. David crept up unnoticed and cut off a corner of Saul's robe. 1 Samuel 24:4. David crept up, creep very quietly, probably crawled on his hands and knees. David crept up quietly, unnoticed, and cut off a corner of Saul's robe. So I don't know if he is crawling or walking, but he's going very quietly, creeping very quietly, creep. David crept up unnoticed and cut off a corner of Saul's robe. So Saul's trying to get him in the dark. I think that was in a cave, and David creeps up and gets a corner of the robe. So David becomes king, 2 Samuel 3. Everything the king did pleased them, made them happy. Everything the king did pleased them. They are very happy. King David, 2 Samuel 3. Everything the king did pleased them. There was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. 2 Samuel 21:20. Here's the hands, and the feet are down here. There was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 toes. 6 fingers and 6 toes. 2 Samuel 21:20. There was a huge, tall, gigantic man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. I don't know if he's fat or tall. There was a huge man. The Lord has turned my darkness into light. The Lord has turned my darkness into light. Amen. The Lord has turned my darkness into my light. Into light. 2 Samuel 22:29. The Lord has turned my darkness into light. 2 Samuel 11, maybe? Absalom rode on a mule. The mule went under the thick boughs, we'll say, bough. The mule went under the thick boughs of a great terebinth tree, and his head caught the terebinth. So he was left hanging between heaven and earth, and the mule which under him went on. So this is a strange picture. Absalom, he's escaping, rode on a mule. The mule went under the thick boughs of a great terebinth tree. We see terebinth trees a lot. The bough of the terebinth tree. And his head caught the terebinth. There's his head caught there. So he is left hanging between heaven and earth, the sky and the ground. And the mule and the mule which under him went on. There's a mule going on. Absalom rode on a mule. The mule went under the thick boughs of a great terebinth tree, and his head caught the terebinth. So he was left hanging between heaven and earth, and the mule which under him went on. That doesn't sound quite right. 2 Samuel 11. I think I need to check that. And I think that's it for Samuel, 1 and 2 Samuel.